Hi guys, hope everyone is good. I just wanted to, sorry, let me turn the music down because on my end it's actually quite loud. I'm actually gonna put it down all the way. Yeah, so basically I wanted to show actually a video. So the first 5 minutes, what I'm gonna do is just talk more about Bitcoin and crypto. So if you wanna just wait for the penny stocks, so in about 5 minutes I'll start with that. But for now, just wanted to play a video actually, and that of a guy in CNBC, and basically it's about if a Bitcoin has bottom or not. Just have a look at this.
The Bitcoin bottom is probably in. What caused that bottom, do you think, to be put in place? What caused that surge above 7,000 that we saw so suddenly, it seemed?
I think it's a lot of people were looking for the bottom. A lot of institutional money with dry powder looking for an opportunity to get in. And I think the bears just kind of ran out of energy, ran out of Bitcoin to sell. And I think from a technical perspective, it's starting to look pretty good. And when the chair of the Fed says negative things about Bitcoin, and Howard Marks says negative things about Bitcoin, and Ken Griffin says negative things about Bitcoin, and Bitcoin doesn't move, I think that's a really bullish sign.
Yeah, and I completely agree with them because, yeah, it came to an end basically that, you know, even the miners wouldn't be making any money if it's anything below $5,000, $4,000, and you could see that the bears have started to, slack off, and it's just not enough selling at that range, and eventually the bulls will take over. There was just another moment that I wanted to play to you as well.
When you're swimming upstream. And like I started buying Bitcoin in 2012 when the price was $10. And I've gone through now 80% corrections, and this was like a 65% correction. It's the same old criticisms, and I think a lot of it is, it's just, they're uninformed. Because I think everybody on this desk, anybody who spends the time to look into what is this asset class, why is it important, why does it have such potential, they come out of it being a believer. They don't have to be running around like I am, kind of evangelizing, but they come out of it saying, I'm going to put some money to work in this asset class.
Yeah, so I totally agree with them. I mean, not every coin or every token has a future, but there will be quite a few that will have, a future to grow. I just wanted to then show the chart and Bitcoin. At the moment, we are 7,529. Now, I still think that we might still push further to possibly 7,700 or 7,600 before we fall down, or we could just fall down from here. The problem is that I see is just it started to have less strength. So RSI is losing a bit of weakness there, and so it really depends what tomorrow is going to bring, or the next few hours. But I've got a feeling that it could push a bit further and then fall back down. But anything is possible, really. So, but what I think is this resistance here of 6,800 to possibly 7,000, just simply because you also have here support around 7,000. So I think between 6,800 to 7,000, there's possibility basically of a pullback from there before we push higher again, before quite possibly before the 10th of August, which is the date that the ETF decision, the SEC, I think the Congress is having a meeting to decide if they want go ahead with the ETF or not. They could still have about 16 days or something like that heard that so they might delay it. If they delay it, it might actually be a good sign. That means they're seriously thinking about it. But when gold had the ETF, it went from like $300 to like, you know, 1,200 or 1,300 in obviously a space of time, not in one day, but it could be actually a very good thing for Bitcoin. So I actually sold some of my Bitcoin. It's only about, you know, probably about 15%, 20% of my portfolio, and I'm waiting for another pullback. And then I will rebuy it again when it gets about here. Also, I'll be looking obviously at RSI starting to get oversold, or, you know, for a pullback. But I still have in mind the 10th of August. So and so that's what I think Bitcoin might do, is, you know, get here and then pull back. So I wanted to have a look at some trading view indicators that I actually modified the script. So I don't know if you're aware about the CCI, the conversion. I can't remember actually what does it mean, CSCI, as a conversion diversion? No, something like that. I can't remember now. But basically, the Avalon T3 CCI stocks is just a modified version of the CCI to have buy orders, to buy alerts and sell alerts, basically. So I get I start seeing when is a good place to buy and when is a good place to sell. And as you can see here, this is actually in a good position. Obviously, is not the only indicator you should look at. You should always look at price action as well, and the RSI and stuff like that. So, but it gives you an extra indicator to help you sort of guide you where's best to buy and where's best to sell. Obviously, this is not financial advice, and if you do use the script, or just message me if you want to use the script, so you have this added to your charts, let me know. But I was looking at modern water, and what I could see basically is after several attempts of, let me get this a bit zoomed out. So as you can see, it has a spike and it fell down and stayed around this support, which is good, and here around just a bit lower, but is still the same support as previously. So, and for the first time, it actually it broke the downtrend line, really, and had rise from there, and it had a fall back now to the 200 moving average, and now it bounced from 200 moving average. So the good thing about the modern water that I like is also just above the T line, and is basically respecting the T line, which is the 8 exponential moving average. So it's staying above that, which is a very good sign. Also, the 20 moving average is crossing the 200. Also, you got the 50, so you got a lot of moving averages around here, but I will suggest keep an eye on this stock, because you might have the possibility of still retesting the 200 moving average, but see if it holds there, or if it actually holds the T line. So this week it might be quite interesting to have a look at this stock. Also, in terms of fundamentals, I believe they have a Chinese I'm not sure if it's joint venture. No, I don't think. I think it's a contract with them. And oh no, not a contract. Sorry, it's a big placing that needs to be agreed, I think, in a meeting. So, but if that goes ahead, that will spike up definitely, because it's a big, massive investment, I believe, on them as well. So that's Modern Water. So I don't want to linger around too much because there's a few stocks to have a look. Also, the the indicators besides the Avalon T3 CCI, I also found the RSI diversions, which is actually a pretty good indicator, because it's giving you all the diversions that is happening if it's still in a good bullish diversions, or if it's turning bearish diversions. Also, this green area is also another diversion detect. So it's, as you can see here, it detected the diversions here, and it started to rise, and it went up. Obviously, then you have to know where to sell, because it won't tell you. But again, the same thing here. I believe, obviously you want to be buying here, but once it drops to the 200, that's still within the diversions. Anyway, so let me have a look at NTOG now. I believe a friend of mine, Hunter, got into this stock just recently on from Discord, and it's actually a very good chart setup. I really like it. I had, as you can see here, there's NCCI. There's already indication of a divergence happening here, which is a good place to buy, and that went up, obviously. Now, what you have the 200 moving average, which is the purple there, and the T line, and it's still above the T line, which is a very good thing. So I think this could bounce in probably in Monday or Tuesday, could continue, or this week. I'm gonna have a look at the weekly as well, because the weekly gives you a really good indication. As you can see, he has divergence just starting here, signal. Also, this is turning up to the upside, even though I got indication right about here to buy. Wow, that's actually a good place to buy if you bought around there. Look at the rise they had. Obviously this is within from September all the way to January, so it's still about 3 months. So so you can see here there's just below the T line. So if Monday goes above the T line, that's probably a very good time to get in, I would say. That's the 50 moving average as well, the blue. The only thing obviously is the Fibonacci here, so that's why I say Monday or Tuesday is probably a good day to just have a look, because if it goes above the 50% Fibonacci, well, it's actually not a Fibonacci, but it's just 50% of the retrace. If it goes above that, that's probably be a good sign to get in. I will keep an eye on the 200 moving average weekly though, as it is twice it tried to attempt to go above it and it couldn't. So obviously if it has a spike above it, this, even if this stock goes to 5 pence with a spike, it's still going to be a good profit anyway. So what else I want to look at? NTOG, ECR. If you guys have any stocks you want me to have a look, let me know. ECR Minerals, another great stock that recently I actually got in on this one. NTOG, sorry, not NTOG, ECR. So on a weekly chart is actually respecting the T line. It's just above the T line, so twice, and above the 20 moving average. So it hasn't been above the 20 moving average and actually closed above for quite some time. So it hasn't closed all the way to, wow, June from last year. So as you can see, there's something happening, and you can see the volume spike on here. So this is an amazing stock, probably to get in. I mean, I got my orders at I believe 87. I think it was 87, around just when it touched the 20 moving average. I'm actually planning to buy some more if there's any small retrace back. Not sure if it will have, to be honest, because the chart setup looks amazing. And on the daily, now on the daily, sorry, just having a drink here. Hi, Lisa. So on a daily, you got you're above the T line actually, and above the 20 moving average, above the 50. So the 200 is the one that's going to be possibly hard to beat, but I think after such a long time, and the company is in a really good place at the moment, I believe that they got a strategic financing as well that happened, and also you can see the volume. I mean, after how long they hasn't had that tremendous volume, so this definitely a very good stock to have a look this week. And what should I? Okay, let me put some tunes. Okay, so HZM, so horizontal minerals, which is a big popular stock really. So what I like in horizontal minerals quite a lot is on the weekly chart, it seems to be respecting a lot the 50 moving average, which is quite interesting. I mean, if you look back all the way, and so as you can see here, 50 moving average always been respected. You know, it dropped just below it and it jumped back in. So, and here again the same thing. When in April it dropped and it bounced back. So now here we are just above the 50 on that day, and on that day, sorry, not days, weeks actually, but we always seem to close above it. And as I can see from the CCI here, we are reaching a bottom as well there. So I expect this to be bouncing very soon. Also, we're still in the bearish divergence, but I think this will change very soon. So let me have a look. What else? So horizontal minerals. Oh yeah, another thing. Sorry, the 618 Fibonacci. We still as well above the 618 Fibonacci, which seems pretty good. This is the retrace from the last rise, and we seem to be always above that. So let me have a look at Jan. This is a stock that I really like, and I'm looking to enter soon, hopefully. I mean, you can't be on all the stocks anyway. But here, as you can see, for the retrace of the last rise, we are on 618. Now, there's definitely a possibility that it will go back down to between 3.9 to 3.97. Now, this Fibonacci on the left side is from the last drop, so it's the opposite way to the last rise, basically. So you got 397 as a 786 retrace, and the last rise, the 786 retrace, is 390. So if there is a retrace, we could still go to around those levels, but based on the candlesticks that I'm seeing here, there is demand around these levels, so we might not see that level ever really, and bounced from there. So I really like this company. It's still quite new, quite recent. I haven't really researched a huge amount in terms of fundamentals, but I know there's a few people that I respect on Twitter that they in the stock, and they basically fundamentals are very good on this company. So I still need to have a look at that. But in terms of the technicals, I think this would be a very good place to enter. If not here, a bit below at 3.9 or 3.97, you know. And let me have a look on the daily actually. So on the daily, it's interesting, there's the divergence that was happening here, and it rised quite a bit to, well, quite a bit, it wasn't that bad, but then it rise to there. Okay, actually this is quite, it just got oversold very recently, so we might, based on the daily, we might actually not go all the way down to 3.9, but we'll see. Anyway, I need to continue because it's a bit, half an hour already. Food had a massive drop, and what attracts me now on foot is just starting to rise. I want to see if it breaks this last resistance here and if it starts continuing going up, because as I can see, divergence is happening, and also it's just above the T line and just reaching above the 20 moving average. So keep an eye on this stock as well, and obviously check the fundamentals and, you know, and stuff like that. And but I can see, you know, there's a possibility of this doing well at least to 117, probably the where 786 fibs is. The CUC, this Copper, which is a stock that Tony Manini and Steve Hughes, which Steve is no longer in, I believe, or consulting probably on Asian Med Resources, but Tony Manini is still there, and he's also part of the board of directors on this company. Now, is a Canadian company, is not UK. But I was just on. I heard about this from Money Sponge, which is really great guy on Twitter, and his research is, you know, is amazing, you know. So basically, the support line, as you can see here, is around 0.05 pence. Now, it had a rise just recently. I'm not sure if it'll be a sustained rise, if it will continue straight away, or if it will drop a little bit down and move up again. But I started having that signal, buy signal over there. That one actually was really terrible buy signal, but it's one of those things. Not everything. This is pretty much like a bot, giving you an indication when is a good buy and when is a good sell. So let me have a look at the weekly chart. Yeah, on the weekly chart, actually you could see a diversion happening here, and that was actually very good signal, a buy signal around there before the rise. And then it fall back down. So now what you want to see is a break of this trend, really, because this trend has been since July last year. No, not last year. July 2016, and then April 2017, and then March of this year attempt again, and then in May again. So what I want to see is basically break of this trend, because this is not good to stay for, you know, unless you're willing to wait possibly till January next year, maybe, if this continues going sideways, or unless it breaks the trend, then it will probably be a good time to buy in. Or if you believe in the fundamentals and you have patience to wait, you could just, you know, get out buying in at support and just wait until it breaks the trend, really. So it could take a few months. I believe the company is really good, and the market cap is not that big. It's about, I believe, about 10 million. So with a great board of directors, I think sometimes you know it's better to go on a stock that actually has a good fundamentals, good board of directors, good story. It depends obviously on the metal they have, and you know, and stuff like that. Anyway, let's get on to the next and the final, which is sorry, it's RBD, Rebuild Resources, and that'll be the last one that I'll see, unless what times you'll be live in the future? Well, I'll be once. Don't know if you're still here, Chuckers, but I will be live in the future once a week, at least on Sunday night, and I'm thinking at some point I'll go live as well on either Tuesday or Wednesday, depends really on my schedule as well, because I do work as well. Even though I'm freelance, so I can, you know, choose my work when I want to work and stuff. Here on Rebuild Resources, this had a fantastic Friday, really. It just rised quite a lot, and it hasn't rised, well, not that long. May, 2 months ago they reached that top. But what I like about this is the divergence was started to get good signal here, and it was giving me a good buy signal there as well. So unfortunately I didn't get in because I'm on other stocks, but no problem, Chuckers. So basically, and now what could happen is have to let me see, have a look. It's just I don't want to see it overbought too quick. I mean, the problem is the RSI is getting already quite close to overbought, but that's on a daily, and the volume is quite good over there. So it's interesting to see what it's going to do, Rebuild Resources. But this was a brilliant indication here. I mean, the buy signal here, where the divergence was happening, and if you bought here, you could have sold on a spike, and then waited for a further entry, and that was another buy entry. Interesting you chose Twitch. I always thought it's for younger audience. Well, Twitch is a good platform to be in. It's a streaming platform. YouTube has a few restrictions, and you gotta. I didn't choose YouTube first because I'm also a gamer, so I got into Twitch first before I actually started finding out about YouTube. But that's about it, really. So in terms of Rebuild Resources, what I was just saying, I think any dip on that is probably going to be a good, because at the moment it just got over the T line as well. It's quite hard to see. It's the white line just crossing the 20 moving average. Sorry, this chart is I mean, it's been on sideways for such a long time, so it's quite hard to see where the moving averages are. But yeah, the T line, so it crossed above and closed above the T line. So I want to see if tomorrow it continues on that T line, and it continues up from there. But on the weekly, actually looks fantastic. It has plenty of room to grow. Whereas on the daily, it might still be time to dip a little bit before it continues rising again. So, but just keep in mind that we are not right on top of the 200. So I'm not sure if it will retest and then bounce from there, or bounce from the 50, So yeah, keep an eye on that. As you guys didn't say anything about any particular stock to have a look, I'll finish the podcast. So hopefully, I'm not sure. Yeah, either Tuesday or Wednesday at 4 o'clock. It depends how much. I think I am free on Tuesday or Wednesday. So at 4 o'clock it'll be good because then the stock market is still open and we could actually see some of them moving as it happens. So yeah, have a good week and. Hope we're gonna have an awesome week. So I'll stop now and see you soon.